Alright, so we are back after a little hiatus, getting some what would be usually rest and relaxation for some downtime. Seems a lot of us have been pretty busy, so maybe not so much, but nonetheless, we have returned for our next session. So we kind of recap a little bit, especially since it has been a bit. We were in the jungle on the Isle of Orcs, headed towards the Savage Lands, trying to find some kind of hidden pass into the mountains, into some Valley of the Lost. Along our way, we were pursued by some large jungle cat. As we encountered some orcs of many different clans, we vanquished those foes as they were ambushing us along the trail. Some expectation of our existence. We kind of got underway and then encountered the large cat in the middle of the road. And many jungle cats are quite big, but this one was huge by comparison. Comes to find out, some sort of druid that was descended of some kind of people that have been protecting a secret ritual over an obelisk that opens up a pathway through this barrier into this Valley of the Lost. So we followed this druid named Hyacinth towards her now ruined and abandoned city of her people, to the towering obelisk in the middle. And she instructed us to kind of protect her while she conducted this ritual to lower the barrier. We had a little tumult over whether we should do it at all because of the possibility, with the barrier going down, maybe it actually truly goes down and anybody could pass through. And since we know that there are some very powerful people that would like to get on the other side for nefarious purposes, we were kind of leery as to whether or not we should proceed with that. But coming to the realization that these people know a lot more about these things than we do, it seems at every corner that one way or another they were going to make their way there, and either we do it and get ahead of the game, or they're going to do it and be ahead of the game. So we went ahead and went with the option to protect her while she did the ritual, even if it meant letting the others able to enter later. We're still uncertain. It could just open up for those present, but we have this sinking suspicion that that was not the case. As we began the actual ritual itself, we heard some war horns. The orcs had been pursuing us through the jungle for a while. We knew through her communications with the actual trees that they were about somewhere. And when the ritual began, a giant spire of energy illuminated our exact position, and it wasn't long before they were on us. We did manage to complete the ritual, at least as we expected. As we were protecting her, something about the ritual turned sour, or seemed to, as she became a giant T-Rex and started trying to eat people. The obelisk exploded, knocking people away, as the earth itself, which had little bubbling bits of tar through some kind of geothermal activity in the area under the mountain, erupted in some fashion as the tar spread greatly across the battlefield. We were actually pretty lucky we were knocked apart from the obelisk, but we really didn't have to deal with the bubbling tar all too much. But some of the foes that were still left on the battlefield were sucked right into the middle of it. And as such, kind of ended the encounter a lot easier than it may have been otherwise. So, it was kind of where we left off. We finished vanquishing the foes. Several of the big beasts charged off, half on fire, half scalding from the tar still stuck to them, a couple of which sank in the tar itself. And the beasts we don't expect to return, not without their masters whipping them at their backs. And so here we kind of stand, not sure if there's more Not sure what else is to come before us, but with some reasonable expectation that the barrier is now down with this obelisk destroyed, and an unconscious druid about saved specifically because of the preemptive death ward placed on her by Carr. But she's unconscious, and we've made some attempt to, bring healing back to her, and she doesn't seem to appear to be dying directly from any wounds taken, but she has not regained any consciousness. And that's where we sit.
You failed to mention the potential massive bonfire that started.
You mean your sputtering torch that you threw in the tar?
No, it's not sputtering now. All right, top of that area is on fire, and it eventually will spread. All right.
Yes,
because the tar
this
pit
is actually true.
And because of the tar pit, it essentially be an everlasting fire. So I've created the Firelands.
Scorched
Earth
Earth policy.
Will appreciate that very much.
Steen the Fire Starter. Legend.
Well, Izzy basically concussed herself on the obelisk and then got blown up and then got turned into a T-Rex.
Oh, yes.
Turned back. So she's just kind of lying on the ground going, ow.
Gathering a moment of breath and, clarity, trying to gain clarity, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
What the hell just happened?
Did we win?
I didn't mean to send two hills if that's what happened. I sent one, nothing happened, and then I did another, and I don't know.
I saw one go through for the dryad and one go through for Izzy. Is that right?
That is what I see. Yeah, like there's two targets, I think. Oh, yeah, that's probably, yeah. Yeah, Izzy was pretty roughed up. I mean, we had some pretty amazing, just to talk of some of the events in the battle itself, some pretty cool stuff happened. We had some running up the side of obelisks and backflipping and doing some landing on some pterodactyls. We had some of that action. We had Izzy leaping and catching a pterodactyl in mid-air and driving it into the boxes. This is how she concussed herself. I mean, some real heroic stuff.
It was a fun fight.
Is
my heroic muscle.
Is the square of the torch?
That's where somebody sank. The circle was the torch. He threw it right barely on the edge.
I put out the torch with my endless water thing.
Okay, sure.
We don't need a beacon that can be seen by half the country any more than any beacons we've already set off.
Roll me a D100. Okay. The volume of water is sufficient, despite it being essentially a grease fire that you poured water on.
You spread the fire?
The water is enough to smother it, in addition, other than just the water itself. So yeah, I mean, that puts out the torch, and the tops, which are bubbling, just steaming, that were actually slightly on fire, have now, the fire has actually stopped spreading and snuffed itself out. I rolled really well for you, as well, on my side. So that's good.
So with the heal from Car, Izzy will sit up and kind of look around, and then basically see Hyacinth laying on the plinth above her, because that's still there, right? The kind of raised area.
Yeah. That's right.
Yep. So she'll just kind of move over in that direction just to check on her, make sure she's alive.
You can see she had quite a few visible wounds across her body, and then, you know, through the different healing magics that's come upon her, you can see the wounds have visibly closed, but she remains unconscious. Shallow breathing, but breathing seems to be, you know, alive and functioning. Something about the sheer power of whatever channeled through her just rendered her unable to wake.
BJ wants to look over her and see if there's anything she can do.
Okay, roll a medicine check. I mean, you don't really have any explanation for specifically why she's having this, you know, this kind of reaction. Your best guess is, you know, the natural aspect of the actual damage and hurt are okay, but something of the mind, something beyond just pure direct medical skills are still taxing her in some way.
I mean, we probably shouldn't just leave her here. I don't think it would be safe even for a dryad to be unconscious in the jungle. That's probably not good. Did you guys hear that?
In the far distance, you hear horn blasts. Far off to the southeast, and then another echoes shortly after, far to the southwest.
I want to grab a file of this tar and put it into my alchemy supplies.
Okay, yes. Roll me a dex check. Just straight dex.
He plans to make tartar sauce.
You stop that.
I really like that, Wolfen. I would give you advantage. I may give you advantage in their occasion.
I laughed.
Because it took a second too. I was like, what the fuck? Oh, that was really good.
Oh, goodness.
See what Josh was outside?
He just chuckled. Wherever he's at right now, he just chuckled.
This stuff is hot and super sticky and dangerous to handle. And so you kind of approach it with some decent caution. trying to use, you know, some of your other tools in your to coerce it into the vial without trying to get any of it on your hands. And you manage to do so just barely. It's like you can feel like just the blistering heat as you know, as your fingers don't actually touch any of the tar, even as it's kind of bubbling a little below you. But they get close, even within, you know, an inch or so, and like you can feel the burn just on your fingertips, and how scalding hot that is. A little plop, just like a, you know, grease in a skillet. Shit! And your fingers burn a little as you fill your vial and scramble back to some realm of safety. Not worse for the wearer.
So I don't know if anyone else was imagining Lumo just like talking to the tar. Come on, you know you want to get in the file. Come on. Sort of coercing it.
But it's Lumo, so he might be doing that in his head.
Yeah,
Happy Gilmoring the tar into the vial. You want to go to your home?
Can I ask Lodrin and Bijou and Cap? Hyacinth had mentioned something about a tree. Do you know how we might find her tree? Maybe if we bring her there, that might help her.
Can we roll for that?
Nature? Yes. I'm pretty sure Lodrin knows. Oh yeah, you know things. Just.
So I really didn't need to be here today. It's fine.
But you know so many things about nature.
I know. So sad.
You do know that dryads kind of live in their tree and they draw strength from it. There is a special tree somewhere that is directly linked to the dryad's power, and it has some regenerative capabilities. They kind of get absorbed into the tree when wounded or tired, but in response to this, you know, if that would particularly help, not entirely sure, but have heard that is something that is just akin to dryads.
So I'm not sure how to find it, but I know she needs one.
Let's see what.
Maybe if we carry her, like if we run across her tree, like she'll be drawn to it.
Maybe, or maybe this sounds weird. And she kind of casts a glance at Lodrin because maybe he doesn't think it's weird, but she's like, maybe the tree would send something to reach for her or something. I don't know.
I mean, that's possible, right? Well, okay. So we probably need to move to where we need to go. Standing here by a flaming tar pit doesn't seem safe.
No.
You see Lodrin kind of lost in thought a minute. You see him kind of look over to Lumo and perhaps give a little bit of a chuckle at his attempts to find the literal needle in a haystack here.
Yeah.
It's like, is this the tree? Is this the tree?
Like one tree in the jungle.
Yeah, one tree in the jungle. And you see Lodrin go, Walks over to this tree. And he puts one hand on the side of the trunk of a tree, and with his staff, you could see it kind of begin to glow a little with energy, as his hands seem like vegetation come off of them, and like in vine form, and kind of wrap onto the tree, and then as he touches it with the staff itself, you see the staff begins to glow, and then the tree does as well, and he just sticks his forehead and taps it right up against the actual trunk of the tree itself, And he sits there with everything glowing for like 30 seconds, unmoving, unwavering. Let's see, take off his bellies. These trees are her friends. They know all about her. For these many long years, they aren't even as old as she is. But even since their birth in this place, their parents have told of how they fostered her and how she has cared for them ever since. They speak of her home. It's not far from here. I can see the picture of the place in a small clearing. A very large oak tree. Just off to the west. Maybe a mile.
That's probably the safest place we can take her, would be my thought. This place isn't safe, at least. Can somebody help me here? And she'll, like, start trying to lift her by her shoulders.
Biju's gonna give her best effort to help you.
Okay. We're probably, like, the two worst.
Like, I've got, like, an arm. Like, that's all I can lift.
I'll help.
Steen just kind of like,
Izzy
and Biju are just like picking up an arm and you know, just trying to just like, what is this unwieldy, you know, and then Steen just comes underneath and whoop, just picks her up underneath the her shoulders across the back, and then underneath her legs on the other side, and just straight picks her up, like the shovel carrier, whatever they call it, which is not actually good to carry someone. Is very difficult. You have to be really strong to carry someone very long that way, instead of something like a fireman's carry. And just picks her up very gently.
That works.
I still try to help. You know, holding a foot or a hand or whatever I can help with.
So you think you or the trees can lead us there, Lodrin?
He kind of nods and
I'll follow him.
Moody too.
So Capricious is a little you know, like you know, the war horns. Do we really have time to be going on the detour to save the dryad when we ourselves might not make it if we do so?
I look at him and I smile. I say, "We'll be fine."
Wait here if you want.
Izzy kind of gives him a look and says, she helped us here, and if she seems to know what's at stake, if she's healthy, may be able to help slow the progress of the enemies following after us, and maybe aid our allies who are coming this way as well. But she can only do that if she's alive.
That's very true. I don't disagree. I just wanted to make sure we were thinking about all the angles before making our decisions. Very well. Let's see it done, and hopefully quickly, before they get here.
Yes.
I believe Lodrin said westward.
Yep, and so he's going to go ahead and kind of lead an expedition through the woods. You can see that the trees in some sort of reverence as the party, traverses through the jungle itself, which we've already had a terrible time trying to hack our way through, and how dense and miserable non-pathed areas are to travel. In this form of reverence, the trees, just like when she was walking through them before, they kind of dip and sway and pull back, and vines recede as Lodrin leads the way with Steen right behind to make way for the party to move through.
On our way, I'm going to use the sending stone if I can, just to let Ileana know that the way should be open, and we're just stopping quick to help the dryad.
Was the sending stone two-way? It was two.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, because she had the other one.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, okay. I forgot what we were doing exactly. Okay, yes, she does. Yeah, you have the open communication basically with those two things. It was the one that was originally intended for your mother, wasn't it?
Yeah, she was supposed to give it to Syrah, but we got a little distracted.
Yes. Okay. That's what I thought, but I was just making sure because it has been a bit since we went through some of those details. Yeah, and so her response is she's just waiting for them to finish the preparations so they can make way. They'll be there quickly, at least as quickly as they can.
Okay.
And they will be there, bristled like porcupine, to stick at any, like a thorn in somebody's side if they're going to cause you any trouble. Okay, so about 20 minutes walk through the dense jungle. You open into the actual clearing that Lodrin had described. It is just a large circle of just nothing, just light grass and flowers in the middle of a jungle. And then standing in the middle is this monstrous oak tree. The party couldn't stand arm in arm and circle the thing. It's that big. It's huge. As Steen draws close to the actual tree itself, holding the dryad, its trunk shifts, moves, and opens to form a small cavity.
I look at Lodrin like, do I put her in there?
This is her home. In here, she will rest and hopefully recover.
And like walk into the hole.
Okay. Yeah. So the little cavity kind of opens up, and it just looks like I mean, it's all wood. It's not like a decorated home like you would think home. In any way. There's no shelves, pictures. It's just natural inside of wood. But as you come in, you can see that like the fibers of the actual interior of the tree are spongy, and as you go to sit her down, it's almost like a pillowy blanket or that wraps around her. And as soon as the dryad comes in contact with the tree itself, you can see it start to kind of move up and over her, wrapping her in like a cocoon of this very soft fiber of the interior of the tree as it moves around.
Well, that's creepy. I'm out of here.
As soon as you step out, the tree, that cavity closes, and then layers and layers kind of come over the top of it, creating a very thick bark shell protecting the entrance itself.
I lay my hands on the tree and I say a prayer.
You can't quite explain it, but you feel a comforting warmth from where your hand touches the tree, as though it hears your prayer, as though it knows what you've done for it and its partner.
she just kind of bumps car and is like, well, that's something you don't see every day. I think we gotta get back now.
Yeah.
Yep, time to go.
The horns sound again, much closer. Still a ways off, but just judging by the change in distance, within a couple of hours at the most, they could descend all in thick numbers throughout this area.
Izzy is gonna start walking out of the grove, and as she does, she's just gonna kind of look around at the plants and go, I don't know if any of you understand me at all, but if you could slow down those orcs and help us get through, that would be much appreciated. And she's just gonna start walking.
Before, you could always see how the trees responded to the dryad, even to Lodrin, just to a degree, where they would kind of move out of the way. Some would even, when it come to the dryad, they would uproot themselves even and move entirely to another position. Vines would recede, the whole deal. But you get the sneaking suspicion, Izzy, that as you're walking kind of through the woods, that you think it's the wind, but you're not sure. There's at least a sway in the trees, where it seems like the path does seem easier. They're not moving out of the way for you, like they did for the dryad, but the wind's just catching it right to kind of sway things just one side or the other as you make your way back through, where it's not really much of an impedance. Another 20 minutes or so pass as you make your way back to the ruined city that was once the Dryad's people's. By this time, you'll notice that the tar has begun to spread some. There is about a 5-foot gap on either side of the obelisk's main base where it was, but the by and large the rest of it has already begun to fill. Just a stepping foot back into the city itself, you feel a small tremor in the mountain, and then a splash, almost like a very mild geyser of one of the tars sprays up just a few feet into the air and splashes from the very middle of the tar pit to the east. This place seems to be becoming less stable than it was.
Is there still a clear path through?
Yeah. Even through, yes. So like 5 feet on either side of the obelisk. So for safety, you feel like you could climb up onto it and through. And then on the other side, there's like a 15, 20 to 20 foot path still through the tar. Still clear for now.
Okay, well, let's hurry because this is probably gonna keep closing behind us.
For sure. Let's go.
Excellent. Okay, so you make your way through what was these large, best be described as dragon gates, that were there, that have long since deteriorated and fallen off their hinges on the main stone wall that was on the northern side of the village. Very quickly, the path narrows, and you can see you work your way up, back and forth, some switchbacks on this mountain path as it goes up. At a point, you reach a cavern, and through that cavern, you can see light on the other end. So you come across it. There's a point of caution. You kind of look in and see that it's just more a tunnel than anything carved through the mountain itself. You can see that it just kind of bends around off to your left a little, but you can still see the exit from the entrance, just the very sliver of light coming in from the other side.
Can I do a quick look around before we go in to see, like, does this look like something that anybody has made home? Or
Oh.
anything has made home?
Okay, roll me a survival check.
That's not great for me. Nope.
And accompany that with a investigation check.
Hey.
That's better.
Theral's scope of the area itself, you can see some scratch marks along several bits of the rock, as though they look like perches of talons of maybe large birds or something similar that have perched along the tops. That's not in the cavern, but just on the outsides. Looking through, it doesn't appear you don't see any sign of anything living there, at least not now. But you couldn't rule that out as a possibility that it's been used for that purpose. This small tunnel, perhaps not, but kind of looking around these mountain paths that are very deliberate. A lot of them were carved directly out of rock just to make way in some way through. And as you begin your climb along the way, you can see large pitted crags and gorges and chasms all throughout. So the things that travel here would have to do so on the pass, and things hunt things where prey travels. That's about the best you could discern.
Okay. I would point out the scratch marks to Bijou and Lodrin because they may know more about this stuff than me, but tell them that otherwise I don't really see any sign of anything that might be living in it.
Do I roll a nature?
Go ahead, yeah. The talons do indeed look like some kind of large talons. You would think a perch for a bird, but these the claw marks are long, so this wouldn't be like tiny little scratches. These are gouges. So any birds would be big birds.
So I tell you guys, big birds. Probably big yellow ones.
Big friendly yellow ones?
Sesame flavored
No.
birds. Sesame chicken.
The not friendly kind, I probably had to guess.
Big Bird really friendly. We just misinterpreting his kindness.
Possibly.
I'll take out my rod of alertness and head in first. Just to
Okay.
keep an eye out.
So you make your way into the tunnel and continue following the path in and around. Very quickly, you'll see that as soon as it comes in, that this path had to be carved out of the tunnel directly into the mountain, because just on the other side of where the path would have wound around is just cliff. There's nothing beyond there. So they had whoever put this tunnel here, or whether it was natural or made long ago and then weathered now enough to look semi-natural. It had to be just as a path for things to take around itself. You come out the other side. As you make your way through the actual tunnel itself, it's not very expansive. There's some pits and some cracks, but nothing that looks like it would actually, hold a den of any kind of animal or anything like that. And then as you kind of come around to the outside, you see another path that stays just on the cliff's edge around the backside.
Oh, cool. Okay. This would terrify me, but Izzy's pretty used to heights, so.
I would just be bop along.
We've spent a good bit of time on the trail, and it's been an ever upward climb to get to this point. And so we imagine that the height's pretty extensive. Just as you're kind of scrambling along the edge of this little pass, you see a corner up ahead, and that corner looks like a very tight squeeze around the corner as some of the path itself has crumbled and fallen.
Can I go and just kind of test the footing on the path?
Okay.
Like just kind of poking the rocks ahead of me to make sure nothing's gonna fall.
Okay. So you make your way along the tight cliff's edge, and you can see how kind of along the side it's almost like it's dug out a little. It's like there's this tiny bit of overhang that encompasses the path itself, and then you hit right at the edge of this actual picture, as it goes to almost 90 degrees around a corner. Right here, the corner itself has fallen away, and you're testing each bit underneath, all the way up to the corner. Looks pretty solid. You go all the way up, and you can't quite see around the corner from where the path stops.
Does the path seem wide enough that like Lodrin's not gonna have any trouble getting around? Up to this point, at least.
Up to this point, I mean, he's going to have to scramble a little. Like, he's definitely, especially just because of height alone. But he has, as a furbolg, has a unique ability to change his size. And as part of that, he's still a very imposing figure. But he seems to be clambering along a lot easier than you would have expected. Fitting better than your memory and perception would have originally thought.
This surprises me at first, and then I remember him squeezing into that crack in the temple in the desert, and how kind of weird that was.
He's spongy. It's the moss.
He's a little spongy. He's solid when he needs to be, as he said.
Mm-hmm.
Giggity.
So how can I kind of like sit on the edge of this and maybe peer around a little bit better?
So you feel like if you were to brace your feet right where the path crumbles, and were like, so just as a kind of a distance perspective, right? If you were to use your hands to kind of stay solid against the wall, and your feet were planted, on the actual edge of where the path falls, if you were at a 45-degree angle, your arms would touch the edge of the corner. So it's like definitely a few feet past the path's ending point where the actual corner is.
So the path itself actually just stops?
Well, it's like crumbled away. Like you see, like it had
okay.
Something had happened, and it looks like not recently had crumbled and fallen into the gorge below.
So before we sent away all of Capricius's retainers, we had, I think, grabbed some of the supplies from there. Did any of that include climbing gear?
A little.
Do we have any climbing gear?
There was a little in. There was definitely some in all of the the supply train, as they knew they were going into the mountains to try to get over them into the valley. And small bits were collected. There's some rope. There's a couple of pitons, and a couple of feet spikes. But not enough for everybody.
Right. I'm kind of wondering if we can like rig some pitons like into the side of the mountain and like string some ropes across them that way to help people climb over.
I've got a lot of rope. About 150 feet worth. No pitons there.
Well, pitons come in the climbing gear, so.
I don't have any because I don't have climbing gear.
Does that sound like a reasonable thing we could do?
I mean, explain the terrain again, Dread.
You're basically on a cliffside, where you've got you're scraping along a wall of a cliff to your left. You're on a fairly steady path, and then a cliff that just drops off beside you. The path itself is only a few feet wide, so not even a full 5-foot width, but 3 foot, pretty comfortably, all the way around. And then the path, as it comes up to a 90-degree corner, the actual path, the rocks underneath, crumbled and broken away for a few feet before you get to the corner.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, take a rope, put a pit on this side, and take a rope around the side. I'd say send Izzy climbing along the wall. Or Lumo. Lumo probably. Yeah. Definitely send Lumo.
Yeah. Well,
Walls? What? You run on them. And then have Lumo, attach rope to the other side. I mean, that's pretty decent climbing procedure.
that's kind of what I was thinking, and then we can use those to get people around the corner and up onto the rest of the path.
You need me climb? I'll climb. I'll climb whatever you want. I'll climb right now.
I mean, do you climb or do you just walk?
Yeah, like
More of a run.
how sheer is the cliff face? Are there lots of handholds and things as well?
I would say the picture itself represents it pretty well. Okay. On the side, directly to your left here as you're coming along. I think that the thing that isn't quite as picturesque is the bottom part, because it definitely comes down a lot straighter off to your right. But the left is, there's there's a big jutting out piece, and lots of this like shale bits that have broken and crumbled, and it's not smooth by any means.
Okay, so I'm thinking we'll use some of the rope to tie around whoever's going to put in the pitons. Just in case they fall, then we can still grab them. And then once they've got the pitons in, they can tie the rope down, and then the rest of us can use that to get around the corner, and we can tie each person with rope as they attempt it, just to make sure that they don't just fall. What do you guys think?
Yeah. Good sounding.
Just show me. I don't know how to do this.
Okay, well, I should be pretty good with rope, so.
I think it's an okay idea.
So, Lumo, do you want to go first, or should I?
I can go first.
Okay. So we'll hand him the pitons and kind of tell him to drive them into the stone face.
I'll be
along the way, and then we can string a second rope through there.
Much like the trees he was trying to find, is he's gonna be like just walking around. Do I go here? Do I go here? Do I go here? Do I hammer it in here?
and I'll be the anchor because this is my favorite kind of terrain.
Yeah.
Rock. Hug mountain. I love mountain.
Yeah. Steen is definitely at home in the rock.
Okay, so I'll tie one of the ropes around Lumo, because I know he's got slow fall, but that doesn't much help if he doesn't have another way to get back up.
Run back up. What are you talking about?
Well, he has to catch himself first.
Have you seen my expertise with my alchemy jug?
Oh, I know you can do it. I would just feel better if you let me tie this rope around you.
Do it, woman.
Okay. I do.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, when it comes to knots and rope, when time isn't really much of an essence, it's a pretty trivial task for you to tie a knot in a way that is not going to come through and absolutely secure. Okay, so Limo has a rope around him.
Okay, and then we'll hand one end of another rope to Lumo, and then give the other end of that rope to Steen. So there's 2 ropes.
Okay, so yeah, so he's carrying one and he's tied up with one.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we'll just let him go.
All right, Limo, how we're doing this?
Do I hammer here? I'm gonna jump 5 feet or to the next little ledge. Do I hammer here?
Do we have?
What about here?
How wide is the gap?
So you can't actually see around the corner, so you're not sure.
Okay.
We haven't got. I mean, we've only know that there is about a 3-foot gap just to get to the corner, so that'd be flush with the corner.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's around the corner, which we don't know.
Gotcha. Okay. So I think I would. I tell him at least one on this side, and then see how far the gap is on the other side. But in general, I'm hoping that we can have one every 2 feet or so. Maybe 3 feet.
1 Lumo. Okay.
Yeah.
And so, Limo, are you trying to Mario like your way, like literally jumping from place to place? Or are you trying to do like a climb? Or are you trying to run on the wall? What are you doing to make your way around?
Mario's not it. It's more like combined, like Tarzan, like I'm almost swinging from the ledge and using my feet kind of just to propel. My hands to guide, my feet to propel.
Yeah, if this wasn't clear, attach the rope, the second rope, to each piton as you go, and then you have something to kind of hold on to as well.
Okay. I need 1 athletics, 1 acrobatics check from Lumo.
Yeah,
That's okay.
Redo that one more.
Okay, yes.
And then the one I'm less. Okay, let's redo that one too.
Oh, to be a halfling.
Oh man.
To be a halfling. Just saved you from killing yourself. Or not exactly killing yourself, but for having a very fun time trying to make your way back up. Oh man, that's the best. That's just the best. Okay.
Blood oil rules.
So yeah, you kind of grab, pivot, swing, catch yourself in a place where she's instructing to hammer in a piton. So now that you've kind of held on, you go to hammer one in. I need another athletics check to hold on, while you're holding, hammering, and everything piton all at one time.
Two's no good.
2 is actually significantly worse than a 1 for you, oddly enough. What the heck? Why is that not playing? That's not fun.
Okay, so Lumo just realized that he forgot his hammer, so he's using his head to bash in this piton.
Oh no.
Good dunk. He's a monk, right? He's got a strong forehead.
I think it's technically a magic weapon at this point.
Yes, I am.
I mean,
Oh man, where did it? Oh, that's not the one. Oh man, I had a couple sound sets set up specifically for the rock, for like a rock slide and tumbling rocks and for like little falling pebbles and stuff. But now.
Is it the Wilhelm scream as well?
That felt like crumbling rocks. Like as I'm bashing this thing into my head, little rocks are smoking me in the head, and yeah.
Ping, 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 ping. Little shower of rock. That's weak. That's weak. Okay, so resolution here. Man, I'm rolling the best. So far, my D100s, I've rolled a 98, a 100, and a 96.
Nice. That's good for us, right?
Yes.
Okay, good.
I need Steam to roll an athletics check.
good thing I dropped the one.
Yeah, so Steam definitely taking a look at, well, you're not supposed to be in large still, but, I'll let it go anyway. Lumo's going to hammer on this actual piton using his forehead instead of his hammer. Doing so, bam! One concussion later, he knocks himself kind of out of his strong foothold that he had before and begins to slide down the mountain just a little as Steen, not giving much slack, grabs on real tight, and I need Limoni to roll another athletics check to catch yourself. Do this one with advantage because of your slow fall. Okay, good. So you only slid about 5 feet.
Whoa, okay.
And you just grasp on and whoop. Okay, this is a little more dangerous than you first perceived. It's a little tricky with the balance and holding on and doing all this all at the same time. You managed to scramble your way back up to where you were. And then let's try again. Try another single athletics to see if you hold on while you actually get it in place.
He's not around the corner yet, is he?
No.
Is he close enough I can reach and give him his hammer?
Yeah, I think so.
Like, you forgot this.
All right. Okay. Okay.
Lumo, in an attempt to not have shaken baby syndrome, now uses his hammer. And I just need one more athletics again, just to see how this goes.
It's twice as good.
Twice as good. This time I will let you use advantage because you actually have your hammer. Good. Very good. So you knock one in place, you run the rope through it. Piton 1 secured.
I'm sure this will be fine. Got the hang of it now?
Sure.
So I see that he's having some trouble, and I pick up my flute and I start playing my flute to kind of encourage him and give him a bardic inspiration.
Excellent. Okay. Yes. Lumo, you feel properly heroic, and feel that your actions are just a cut above everyone else's. That's why you have been chosen for this. And so, therefore, you feel inspired for even more heroic success.
Oh, I need a hammering song.
Yep, this is your hammer time song. It also includes a D10.
Okay. So going to the next.
Okay. Let's go ahead and do one more athletics and one more acrobatics. Swing, put yourself in place, and then to hold yourself there.
That part's easy.
Yeah, you think you're getting the hang of, oh, this is what they need me to do. You move into the second position, now kind of right at the corner, and you get your first look around the corner, and you can see that there is a path that there's only, the crumble happens on this side and a little on the other, so there's about 2 to 3 feet on both sides of this corner that have broken and crumbled down the mountain, kind of avalanched down. But just past that, the path picks back up and climbs very steeply up to a cave on the other side. When your head just brushes past the corner, you can hear the faint movement of water further up ahead.
I will relay that to my group.
Okay, so you hammer in the next piton, scramble around, making good track of kind of what's going on. Continue on to the next one as well. Hammering in a couple of more pitons along the end, hopping down on the path on the other side.
I'll be like, okay, I think it's in now. What do I do now?
So he's got one around the corner?
Yep, he's placed one on this side of the corner, on their side of the corner, and then one over underneath the path where the path exists again around the corner as well. So he's got 4 pitons in total.
Okay, and he's been stringing the second rope through them each time?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I tell him basically anchor the rope there, and then How does the path look on that side?
It goes steeply up, and there's a cave up top.
Solid? Wide enough?
Yeah.
Okay. Untie your rope. Nope, don't untie your rope. Yeah, just anchor the other rope there and hang tight. And then I will volunteer to be the next person across. And I am also tying a rope around myself and giving it to Steen.
Okay, I take the rope.
Okay. We got between everyone there's actually a good bit of rope.
Yeah.
So okay, we'll do.
Would you say this is a ropey situation?
Stop that.
Yeah, I mean I guess so, but
I guess.
I guess I would say that. The so what I'd like you to do is well first, how are you going to make your way around the corner? So what method, like kind of just in general, are you going to be using to try to get across?
Climbing the rocks mostly. And I would also like to. I assume we have like oh gosh, what are those hooks called that they hook onto rope when you're rock climbing? The name is
Carabiner.
just escaping. Yes, that one. So I'd like to hook one of those onto my rope and also onto the rope that Lumo has strung across.
Okay.
So I've got one attaching me to the mountain and one attaching me to Steen, basically.
Okay, sure.
I'm watching very, very closely how she does this.
All right. Yeah. Good. And let's see. So I think in general, just roll me an athletics check with advantage. Two of them, two different ones.
I'm also going to be double checking Lumo's knots and handiwork as I go around.
Oh, okay.
So 2 athletics with advantage? Was that what you said?
Yes, that's correct. Okay, yeah, so you scramble around, surprised a little maybe at the handiwork and how well it actually was put in place. As you kind of went around, you feel like your weight is somewhat supported by the actual rope itself, so you don't feel like the trip around is all that difficult just in general. I mean, it's a climb and there's a straight fall, and so there's some you're not really so scared of the heights aspect of it all, but you know it's an ordeal to climb on the edge of this cliff face and just shuffle sideways. But given the circumstances, wasn't as bad as you thought.
Okay. So what I'll do, we have 2 ropes over on our side now, so I will attach the carabiner to the end of my rope, unhook it from me, and give it a couple tugs, and then let it go slack so Steen can know to pull it back, so that they have the carabiner back on that side.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. And so what I would like to do now is, rather than do everyone individually, let's just do a group skill check that we can support one another in addition to, scramble everyone across. So I would like 2 athletics and 1 acrobatics and 1 survival from everyone left on the other side. 2 athletics, 1 acrobatics, and 1 survival from everyone on the other side.
Oh, well, save, but still, same thing.
Yeah. Your strength would. Yeah, actually, it's probably pretty close to the same if you're proficient in athletics, I think so.
And 1 survival?
Yes. So that has to do with tying ropes and all of that aspect as we're making our way around.
Oh, that half proficiency.
That's good. Normally, you don't get proficiency in something you're not proficient with, right? You get set.
Yeah. Is that one of her abilities?
Am I
Yeah.
close enough to help with that one there?
I think so. Yeah.
Just a reroll.
Mhm.
Super helpful.
Yeah.
My knees
You
are
were-
all skint up
You
now.
were 9 times more helpful. So,
All right, Lodrin. Wow, like Lodrin just like da-da-la, just like tra-la-la's just right around, easy, like easier than Lumo by far, easier than Izzy, just tra-la-la. Giant guy, rope, no problem, no
I've
problem.
done it without the pitons.
Every roll's like over 20. That's crazy. So he's okay. I assume Bishu's not going last. So let's see about.
I'm gonna go last.
I figured Steam would go last. So since he's been the anchor. All right, let's see about Capricious. And a natural 20 makes him across.
Nice.
But he makes. So he clambers across and he is clutching the wall with iron grip as he makes his way across. But he's making like it's almost Benny Hill as he's making his way around though, as he's all scrambling and sliding and like clutching on like for dear life, and then like trying to make a step, but he has to go so painfully slow as his way around because he just can't get any leverage or anything. He's just straight using his not expansive strength to clamber around.
Slow is okay. Dead is bad.
Just giving the rug a hug. The rock a hug. Hugs.
Okay. I need Capricious makes it over. I need let's see, Steen to roll athletics, and who's anchoring the other side? Who's anchoring
I'm standing on a spear that I've jabbed into the rock.
uh, who's strong?
I'm-
Maybe Lodrin. Lodrin's pretty heavy.
Yeah, he did make it across before Bijou, so okay, yeah, I'll let him. Okay, so
I'd rather
Bijou,
be anchor.
as she makes her way across, slips and falls handful of feet, and the rope tugs taut, and right across her belly, squeezes her tight. Kind of hurts. She's gonna take essentially a couple points of bludgeoning damage as Lodrin and Steen catch her and try to hold on tight.
Just reel her in.
Bijou, I need you to make another athletics check. There it is.
Ah, good.
Ta-da!
I was worried. I'm gonna be like, this is when they were pulling Homer back up the cliff on the stretcher, and he just hits his head the whole way up.
Don't.
With the surge of adrenaline from the fall, and the rope clasping tight around you, you get the just the sensation of, okay, this is, I gotta do this, and you just persevere, and you grab on, and almost with the Rocky theme song going on in your head, you pull yourself to the top, and over to the other side. Not
I like hug her when she gets up. You're okay.
I got like huge like anime eyes, like I'm terrified.
and a little bit of rope burn on your belly.
Oh.
Of course, I use mending real quick to mend any of my clothes or stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't really mend skin, I guess.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't serve that particular purpose. Let's see. One of the veterans scrambles across easy. The other veteran scrambles, and he falls. So, Steen, I need you to roll another athletics check. This guy is extra heavy.
Oh no.
Ooh, I'm gonna use inspiration on this one.
Okay. Okay. Use it.
Do it.
Oh no.
Do it. I tried.
The rope slips as the heavy splint mail-clad veteran slips and falls down the mountain. You grab on. You try to grasp a second time as the rope is sliding through your hands. You feel your hands burn bad as the rope is pulling, tugging, sliding through your hands, and goes off as the veteran falls and falls. And you hear crunch, crunch,
Oh.
clang, clang as he starts bouncing, falling down the mountain. He didn't make it.
Is he just hands over mouth? Well,
Who's next?
Your last.
Yeah. Everybody hold on to the rope.
yeah, that was the plan. That's why we left the second rope over there.
You take 9 points of fire damage to your hands.
No, rope burn.
Well, it's about time I took damage, I guess. Only thing that can hit me is the rope.
You are now without support rope other than the rope that is anchored through the pitons.
We left Lumo's rope on this side as well, so because I sent the one back with the carabiner, but Lumo kept his rope stretched across. Right? Or did we use, or was that the one that fell?
Okay, well, I thought we were sending the carabiner back to be the one that grabs, and then there is the one that's tied to each person.
Yeah, so on the first way across, we gave Lumo 2 ropes. So there's one that was tied around him, and then one that he tied to the pitons. He kept that second rope.
Oh, and then you tied yourself because you tied a separate rope.
Yes.
Okay, that's right. Okay, yes. So there's a second. So there is a second rope. Okay, so there is a both the piton rope and the rope that you can attach to yourself. Okay, yeah. So there is a second. Okay, good.
Izzy doesn't doesn't mess around when it comes to ropes.
And your hands are stinging. It's tough to hold the rope.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. You've already made me make my rolls for this, alright?
DC
Yeah.
just went up higher, man.
Okay, okay.
So I'm very nervous and I begin playing again. And I give you a bardic inspiration.
We are all holding on to the second rope.
Well, I'm playing a song. I'm not holding on to it.
Well, yes. I mean, the rest of us.
As Steen, the rock person, in full plate, goes last.
Yeah.
This will be fine.
But unlike the last guy wearing full plate, I have a sled.
A sled?
His
He's gonna
shield.
go Legolas down the mountain.
I do believe in the conservation of momentum through teleportation as well. So if you missed your step, you're still going fast. Acceleration still exists. Just saying.
Oh, really? Oh, I'm gonna use that now. Okay, that's fantastic.
Anyway, so I need one extra athletics check and one wisdom check. Let's make it a wisdom save. Let's make it a wisdom save.
Well, good thing I don't have a negative wisdom, but it didn't matter. And then you said athletics,
One more athletics.
and B just said she's singing to me.
Mhm.
Yes.
So I was part of inspiration.
Roll a d10 and add it to any roll of your choice. Let you roll the athletics first, and then decide which, if you need or want to.
Yeah, I'll roll that D10 on
Okay.
my wisdom. Wait, that's a D4, 6, D8, D10.
Ooh, excellent. Okay, you needed a 10 total. You got 11.
Woo! Yishu saves the day!
Nice.
The rope burn is intense, and when you try to grab onto the rope, you whinge and wince in response to the pain as you grab onto the rope to try to climb yourself around. Through steel resolution, you make it around to the path on the other side.
And when I get over there, I pull out my healer's kit and wrap my hand. Because my hands hurt.
Put some nice balm on them.
Yep, some balm. I'll be like, hey, Lodrin, can you give me some aloe? Can you grow some aloe?
He's gonna pick a little mushroom off and go squeeze it in.
Gross.
Like little spore, like these nasty fungal, acid, disease-ridden things all over him. It's like, no, this one's a good one. This one doesn't burn and melt your flesh like the others do. I think. Yeah. I think this one's
I think
good.
that's the right one.
Lodrin can grow things, right? So he's essentially like a walking pharmacy. So.
Mm-hmm. And it picks one and just like mushes it up, and then puts it on your hand, and immediately you can feel the burn begin to placate some as you wind it up. That's gonna sting for a little bit. Maybe not as much as the guy who fell to his death is feeling or felt on his way down. But
he's not feeling anything. He's fine.
I just hope he fell on his head first.
it was veteran number 2, I guess. So I guess you never know if you're something number 2, you're just not long for the world.
Was he wearing a red shirt? Yeah.
Why did you wear the red shirt under your armor?
No, all the others, the ones that died in the ambush, were all the ones wearing the red shirts.
He just had too much blood on his shirt, I guess. And,
all right, so back on our path. This one begins a very steep climb, like 30-degree grade upwards, up to another open cavern at the top.
Can I check this cavern as well?
Okay. This one looks to be a lot less of a designed tunnel in a way. This one definitely looks a lot more natural throughout, and there's a lot of water path when you just kind of begin looking at the inside. Some of the rock is just dripping wet along the walls, and you very strong suspicion that the water has eroded the majority of this away. But at least through this entryway, you don't see any other signs of actual like living things here.
Okay.
You do now, especially as you come up to the actual mouth of this cavern entrance, hear an echo of rushing water further in.
Okay. I'll go first with my rod of alertness and just keep an eye out. Especially if we're hearing roars.
Are we trying to be quiet?
I'm not. I mean, I'd make more sound if I was trying to be quiet.
So those roars are not actually there. It's not playing the music it's supposed to play.
I'd say I'd probably just continue to play my little flute and try to keep everybody's spirits high.
Okay, so we make our way through the tunnel. It kind of winds around and it gets dark pretty quickly. Roll your perception, Izzy. You have dark vision anyway, so you've got your advantage because of your rod. So go ahead. You're kind of leading the trek.
And I pop out a torch.
Okay, we got a lit torch.
I can't see in the dark.
As you travel through this cave, it goes mostly still up. You hear the echo get louder and louder of this rush of water from somewhere. But now, 10, 15 minutes of walking through this cave is pretty expansive, but it's mostly tunnels. You come across a split in the path. Left or right?
Do I hear where the rushing water is coming from? Like, does it come from one path more than the other?
The rushing water seems to come from the path to the left.
Are there any other markings or indication what might be down the tunnels?
Roll on an investigation as well. So start looking around to see if there's anything. You kind of, look around, see if there's any markings. Is there anything? It's still that very wet. The walls are kind of mossy and slippery, even on the inside here. Like mushrooms are growing abound in the crevices and corners. Something that Lodrin is somewhat intrigued by. The best you can tell, it sounds like the rush of water is down and like down the left path and perhaps a little below you, and it looks like maybe the right path goes up.
Okay. And then as just one last check, I'm gonna cycle through my at-will spells for my rod. Detect evil and good, detect magic, and detect poison and disease, just for good measure.
When you do detect magic, you see that the walls have a faint, a very, very faint, subtle glow, as though the rock itself, in not just in one spot, but you look backwards, back at the cave behind you, for a long way. It's just like this, it's almost like this very faint bioluminescence from the glow from your detect magic. Something like it's ingrained in the rock itself.
So you guys all just hear Izzy go, huh. And I'll tell everybody kind of what I've noticed here and see what they think, which way we should go. This is not my expedition, so I'll look to Capricious in particular.
Capricious says, well, if we were looking for animals, or if we were animals, we'd want to go to water. We have to get up and over this mountain, but I don't know if we have to go higher to go over, or through, or around.
Well, water must be coming from somewhere. So I suppose my inclination would be to go towards the water and see if it comes out the other side somewhere, like if it's a snow melt from the mountain or something like that. What do the rest of you guys think?
I mean, I'm in the back. I'm just following you. I'm following the person in front of me. So
I might ask Lodrin about the magic bioluminescent glow as well. If he's picking up anything like from the lichen or something in the cave, or if it seems to be the rocks themselves.
You see him kind of put his hand on the wall, kind of running it along some of the different vegetation and things that is growing there. These things are old. Very old. But they live here like any other plant. I'm not sure, but I don't think they are the source of the thing you sense.
Maybe it's a effect of the tower? Maybe we're getting close. In your readings on the tower, did they say anything about where it was? In terms of, like, would it be on top of the mountain or down in the valley somewhere?
Capricious would definitely respond saying something like it was supposed to be in the valley. It was a center focal point to survey the whole valley, no matter what side you came in on. Although also the readings said that the tower predates the mountains, so I don't know.
Well, we could either go down towards the water and see if that has another exit, or we could go up and maybe take another survey of our surroundings. Any thoughts?
Capricious just kind of shrugs. It's like, I don't know that we know enough to make a decision. At least not one informed. They both seem to have merit, but without really knowing what either side will get us, how do we know which one's the correct choice?
Well, Capricious, we're here hired by you. I'd say it's your choice.
Very well. Best way to make a choice when you have no idea, reaches into his pocket, pulls out a coin.
Yay, my favorite. Lady Luck.
All right. Heads we go up, tails we go down.
Makes sense.
Flips the coin in the air. According to Alexa, when I asked her to flip a coin, we got tails.
Down it is.
Does that really count?
I look at Capricious and I'm like, hey, let me see that coin.
While they're arguing about the coin, I'll start scouting down the tunnel, I guess.
He hands it over.
I look it over to make sure it's a regular coin.
Kind of investigation. Investigate. Seems true enough. It has actually two sides. I mean, it's stamped, so there's a possibility of imbalance, but doesn't look like it was. It looks like a regular coin.
I hand it back.
He just shrugs. And then winks at you. And then follows down. The sound of the water begins to drown out even regular speech to one another as the echoes through the caverns increases and increases. And then opens. Light comes in from above. As you make your way out of a particular spot in the tunnel that looks to be extremely open, and then as you make your way around, the cavern opens up before you, and you can see light coming in from either side ahead of you. You're coming in from the north end of this map.
I'll stay close to the wall, but keep going a little bit ahead and try to see if I can see around any of these corners.
Okay. So, highly eroded, moss-lined walls. You see nothing. You hear only the rush of this great amount of water.
Did you say it's probably like dim light in here?
At the very least, yeah. I mean, as you make your way around, like where you are is probably dim light, but when you make, I mean, just around, you can see bright light, you know, coming from overhead.
Would we have any sense of what side of the mountain we're on at this point? Or not really?
There's definitely some flips and turns inside. We don't have any dwarf, so we don't have anybody that has natural, like, auto direction sense, do we? Just making sure. I don't really know everybody's abilities well enough to know if anybody just always knows what direction they are, whether it's underground or whatever.
My only ability is that Mister taught me how to use a map.
True. Yeah. You're damn good at reading a map.
Not with this character, I don't.
Okay. Then Izzy, you can roll me a survival check. Try to piece it together, flipping around the mountain, going through the caves, up and down, around bends and curves. You have no clue where you are in the mountain. I mean, you know that you've made pretty much the only possible progress that you could. But
Izzy navigates using the sky. This is not good for her.
even when you can see the sky, you're sandwiched in between other mountains on these different passes and stuff. So you've got like these thin, so you just have thin slices of sky up ahead. You know, lighting the outer faces of the rock that you're on, so it's light, but still hard to tell from a directional perspective. Unless it's exactly noon, you can actually see the sun, but that doesn't help you know what direction you are. So yes.
Right. Okay. Well, in that case, she's just gonna keep skipping around the rocks.
Okay. Yeah, you hear the rush of this massive river below you, and you can see a cliff's edge right in front of you, and across the way you can see another cliff edge with an exposed area. You do see what looks to be a very precariously rickety rope bridge spanning this 40-foot gap.
And there's another, like, crack in the floor here. Is that what that is? To the left? Where it says 25 feet?
I'm not really sure what the original intention of the foot measurements were exactly.
I think they're declines. Like they're always right by the shadows.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it's like, is it?
So I think it's height. It's actually height above the water.
Oh, so like this area is raised, and then there's a little step down to the area where the bridge is?
So like over here would actually be 5 feet above the water.
Right.
15 feet above the water.
Okay. Yes.
25 feet above the water.
Yeah.
Okay, that
that
makes actual sense. And then this is another step up. So this is 25, and then step down. Yeah, that actually makes some level of sense as the original intentions for the map.
Topology.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that's, yeah, I'll see that, and I'll just go around the other way, I guess.
I think for our purposes, the actual what it says, let's double it. No, not
Okay.
double it. Let's the step downs to the area where the ladder are, we'll keep that that about the same. But it's more like 40 feet up above the water along the bridge here. So let's just make it
Okay.
like a lot further down on a deep pitted out gorge. But the other stuff is reasonable. Like the difference between.
Okay, so I'll wave everybody forward and continue around. Can I inspect this bridge?
If this were clothing, it would be worn by the most rattiest hobo that you've ever seen.
The poles that it's anchored to, how solid do those still look?
So you want to, I guess, let's go ahead and do investigation. Let's just take a look and see. So you're gonna push on it, feel how soft the wood is, see how what kind of stuff we're dealing with. There's a lot of wiggle. A lot of the wood isn't like rotted, but it's definitely weathered to an extent that it's decreased in size. It's pitted along one way. It's split across the middle from all the humidity and liquid in the area. And it wiggles back and forth, but it does seem like it was made from a very strong hardwood. So even though it has strength and has split, it would still hold some weight.
Okay.
The wiggle is the thing that you are the most concerned about. The ropes look very threadbare, if you will. Tattered.
Yeah. My thought was it's probably not best to trust most of the bridge, but if the posts were more or less intact, we may be able to use those rather than using any more pitons, which I would probably go up to Capricious and ask him if we have any left.
We've got about 10 pitons left.
Okay, it may be worth it to just create an extra anchor and kind of take this the same way as we did across the gap on the path. We may be able to use these posts, but I would rather just have a couple of pitons driven into the ground to anchor the rope, just in case.
So I can take me and one other person through Dimension Door to the other side.
That could definitely be useful.
Yeah, you can actually see the other side of this one.
Mm-hmm. Actually, I could do it 3 times, so I could take 2 people over, maybe?
Do you also have Misty Step?
I have a ring, but it's only 30 feet. The bridge is further than that.
It is a little, yep, sure is. It's 40. It's a 40-foot gap.
Yep, I already counted. So I can stay on this side, and whoever needs to cross can go across, and then I can try and help get whoever else back across.
That sounds good. Lumo, did you want to take the pitons across again? You did a good job last time. As long as you remember your hammer.
Well, okay then.
Play to his ego. Play to his...
Yeah. Flattery will get you everywhere.
So same thing. I'll tie a rope around him just in case, as long as he permits me to.
Fine.
We just saw somebody fall down a mountain. And give him the stuff and let him go. And we can hammer the piton on this side. We'll probably wrap the rope around the poles a couple times just to kind of double or triple anchor it.
Then.
Okay, so you're going. So how are you going to try to get across? Are you just going to walk the bridge?
Yeah, I'm kind of holding on to the rope, and then if I don't like this particular side of the bridge, then I kind of like shimmy over to the other side of the rope and traverse a few feet down that.
How much do you weigh?
Oh, what the fuck is notes? Okay, I am 42 weight plus inventory of 120.
Just like an ant.
3 times your body weight in inventory.
Oh, there's a here. What the hell's causing all that weight?
You know, part of me is gonna be surprised that Limo just didn't use his decanter of endless water to rock and propel himself.
You got 32 pounds of alchemy supplies. Is that right?
Alchemy supplies.
Just
That
keep picking up a lot of stuff.
Oh, it says
So-
I have 4 alchemist supplies.
Oh, hey, I
There
also
we
have
go.
a block and tackle.
Just have the bag of holding. So some of that in your bag of holding also.
We pretty much emptied out a lot of my bag of holding. So there's potions, a cloak. Oh, my depleted wand would be in the bag of holding. Let's put that in.
I was just trying to think if there was like if some of that was just miscalculated because it's supposed to be in the bag instead of on your person.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, so yeah, you're rocking 2.5 times your body weight in inventory because D&D makes sense.
I am fit.
Yeah. D&D does make sense. That's why there are rules.
There are rules here. Okay, so I need you to roll me acrobatics and a D100. Ooh, natural 20. Very nice. Also nice. The bridge is sketchy. As you're making your way across, you are feeling your way and making necessary hops and jumps when needed as you're taking your individual steps. One board you step on and it just crumbles almost like dust and breaks into like 8 pieces, falls into the water below, and just as it starts to break, you kind of hop over to onto the rope and hold as the stuff breaks free, but you scurry across.
What do I have? Yeah, I have pitons and rope. I'm just looking at other things that could be useful. Don't think I do actually. Nope, not that I can see immediately. All right, let's start hammering in pitons.
It's hammer time.
Okay. Yep, so you hammer in a couple pitons, no worries. The hammering sound echoes a little over the sound of the rushing water. You hear some kind of screech. Some kind of screech in the distance.
I want to activate my Ring of Arcane Mastery and pop out a Shadow Blade.
Okay.
You know, just in case.
Can we tell where the screech is coming from, or is there too much echo?
There's too much echo.
Okay.
And I need you to all roll initiative.
Good. Sub 10 roll. I just want to make sure, right, it's your intent that Dodrin is targeting his Z right now, right? Before you roll attack one.
No, not really, but yeah, so I was just doing all the initiative stuff though. So the loud screech. It sounds... It's very loud, especially because of the echo, but it does sound diminutive, like the screech of something small. Izzy. You're up.
So I've got my Rod of Alertness out in one hand, because I was scouting. In the other, I'm going to draw my my dagger. And basically get against the wall and just keep an eye out for anything. I guess I would ready an attack if anything swooped down at us. Swooping is bad.
Okay, sure thing. A little bitty winged beast. Begins to come over the cliffs from way up above and swoops down.
Ittle bitty, little bitty?
Like tiny. By D&D classification, tiny.
Regular size spider, tiny. Maybe a little bit bigger.
A little bit bigger. So I think
Gross.
I think a cat is also considered tiny as well. So it's somewhere in the range between spider and cat for small.
Ooh.
Oh no, it's cute.
With a hooked barbed tail
Aw.
and an oddly glowing chest.
Damn it, Charlotte.
I want one.
This tiny little wyvern looking dragonet. Swoops down. Starts swooping straight at Izzy.
No.
How close before you reach your minimum distance, your regular throw distance or whatever?
It definitely looks like it's swooping down to attack.
It's coming at y'all's general direction fairly quickly, but that's about the best I could say for that.
I'm just.
But it's so
I'm
cute.
gonna hold still. It probably just looks like a little glowy bat, so.
It does look like a little glowy bat in a way.
Vampire.
Ugh, triggered.
The glowing radiance from its chest pulses, and it opens up its mouth, and a cone of flame, only
no.
like 8 feet long, just comes out of its mouth as it swoops down and lands on the rock, and then starts to swing back and forth. Not long enough to get to you, but definitely threatening.
That's just adorable.
Just little bitty, and as it swoops down and it gets to the size, you can see it's a little, a small cat, not like a kitten, but like a small cat. Just sprays and screeches.
Wait. Let me talk to it. Can I do that? It's not on my turn?
Yeah, you can talk, but I mean, if you have to cast the spell Speak with Animals or whatever, that does take some kind of action, which you have to wait to your turn. But if you,
Okay.
but you have
I'm
your
just trying to
oth-
I
you
can
have-
just convince them to not attack it yet.
Okay. Oh no, yeah, you can tell them. Yeah, you can tell your friends. So, and then
Let me try to talk to it first.
Capricious is kind of giving you this like side eye, like. What? That's a dangerous little thing.
But
What
he's
is
so
it?
cute.
I don't know what it is, but it's spitting flame. And tiny and cute can be deceptive. They can still be dangerous.
Oh, I know. And I grin at him real big.
He just shrugs
Chuckles.
and waits. Another one swoops in, this time over by Lumo. It lands, not right up on him, but back a little bit, and in a very threatening way. Again, its chest glows, pulses, and then it spews out this small, about 8 foot long cone of flame. it sprays back and forth in this threatening, you know, don't come at me, bro, kind of defensive manner. But in so doing, begins to catch a little fire to the bridge.
Oh no!
Alchemy jug. Or no. What's my other jug?
The geyser?
Decanter?
Decanter.
Decanter, yeah.
Like, you gonna get acid or like mayo or like?
Mayonnaise.
I'm gonna dump a jug full of mayonnaise on this here fire.
I mean, it didn't work.
Just don't grab the one with tar in it. It's fine.
Maybe they like mayonnaise.
Oh, good. Why couldn't that have been what happened? Could have been so funny.
Yeah, let's do decanter, and I will fountain for 5 gallons of water.
And you're aiming it kind of back towards the little dragonette some?
Yeah, like definitely in a line, or definitely at the bridge, like where he's trying to light it, but sort of in a line towards the dragon, kind of like a dueling key blast from Dragon Ball Z.
Okay. Okay.
Did you go that far with a fountain?
Fountain is 30? It's
Fountain.
all...
Geyser's the 30. Geyser's the 30. Fountain's kind of just, you know, I'm picturing a water fountain.
Okay.
Like
oh yeah, I was
at a
thinking
theme
geyser.
park.
So no, it's the fountain version of it. Okay, yeah. Yeah, you kind of spray a bunch of water. Let's see.
And kind of putting my thumb to it too to make it go a little bit further, kind of like you would with a hose.
Mm-hmm. So the spray does put out the little fire, since it had just barely caught the edge of it, hadn't had time to build, and it's also kind of very humid and moist in this area anyway, so it wasn't just like super catching real fast, but it does kind of splash a little on the dragonette.
Get wrecked.
Who sputters and then lets out a terrifying tiny little screech. This little dragonite will swoop down in defense of his now soggy brethren and begin casting an innate spell.
Don't get them wet. Don't feed them after midnight.
You barely just evade out of the way as not just the cute little spout of flame from its chest, but full-on burning hands blows the shit out of this edge of the bridge, and the bridge collapses. This entire end scorched collapses on this side, including the rope that you had brought over with you.
Oh no, they're like dragon lumos.
But cuter.
They're tiny and glowy and make fire.
And right next to Bijou.
Another one swoops down from above, lands next to Bijou, but back away, and lets out its defensive short burst of fire from its glowing chest.
So I cast Animal Friendship on this one right here beside me that just scared the bejesus out of me. And then I get the free Speak with Animals.
Uh-huh. Is that
So yeah, that's a critter friend. Speak with Animal spell. I can cast it without expending a spell slot.
does it take an action to do that, or does it
That is a good question. I don't know. It says cast it at will.
I think it is an action to cast, so I think you have to choose which one you want to go with.
I'm gonna go with Speak with Animals then.
Okay.
But no spell slot lost. And I'm gonna be like, hey guys, we're just traipsing through here. We don't mean any harm. You guys are gorgeous. We don't want to disrupt anything.
You see it kind of stare at you. It kind of like cranes its neck a little. Mean big thing. Mean.
We don't mean to be mean. Do you need something? Can I help you?
Big thing stomp on all our place. Our place.
What big things?
You big thing.
Oh, we did not mean to hurt your home. We didn't know.
And just spout some flame. Not no. Still mean. Still mean.
Can I offer it some food?
I mean, you can.
Just trying to think of how to not be mean to it.
Many ways. Convince it we're leaving.
Yeah, we're just trying to go through.
Trying to make our way down into the valley, kind of thing.
Yeah, we're just trying to get down to the valley. We don't mean any harm. We'll walk softly.
Valley not your place either. Valley is Papa's place.
This ain't.
Well, we want to go meet Papa.
Papa eat you.
Oh, come on. No, he'd love to talk with us. Why don't you take us to Papa?
Stomp on all things. Disturb
look at the
nice
ground and, like-
magical things. This is our place. I not understand your words. You talk funny. But we smarter than you. We know things.
I'm sure you're very smart. That's why you're so beautiful, I'm sure.
This place protected.
And we want to see it kept that way. There are bad people coming. We want to make sure this place stays protected.
People. You people.
Oh no. We're here to help.
Yeah, you people. You people here, that's bad.
We're here to help you. Just let us help you. Take us to Papa. Where's Papa?
We don't trust you.
Wait, it's a dragonette, right? So can I take a gold coin out and hand it to it? There you go.
Ooh, shiny.
take a handful of gold and like offer it to it. Here you go.
It like snorts as it does, like little tufts of fire comes out of his nose. The smoke kind of billows out.
All right, well, I'm just gonna leave these little 5 pieces of gold right here and drop them on the ground.
Papa told us about people and what people tried to do.
What do people do?
People try to bribe and think we're not smart. People try to invade, come past a barrier that they're not allowed in, to ruin, destroy, undo balance.
Your papa's right. There are people coming to destroy this area. We want to stop that.
Roll persuasion check.
Come on, Bard.
Come on, charisma.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
See, it cranes its neck and narrows its eyes. This time it lets out a screech.
Is it the same kind of screech we've been hearing?
The
different
screech,
kind?
so everyone else hears just the very loud, long screech. But you hear, alarm! Alarm! And they take to the sky.
Well, alrighty, guys. I tried. Guess we have to beat up these friendly things.
Yes, actually, Bob, that's what I was thinking too a little. Those exact people. Except for it turns out that these dragonettes are actually smart.
Yeah.
Actually are smarter than everyone here.
Oh.
Dragons, yeah.
Just don't speak your language.
You got a 14 int. But come on. Come on.
Yeah, no, they're still smarter than you.
Well,
The veteran, he's like, I mean, of course, he understands none of this. He just sees this dragon screeching, and then hears Bijou kind of like screeching back at it. And he's like, I guess I should just wait.
Having a conversation.
well, I mean, I turned to them and I told them that we're gonna have to beat up these little things.
Oh,
But
you
I
said.
tried.
Oh,
Yeah, I said I tried, but so we're gonna have to beat up the pretty things.
Yeah, well, then he will actually come over and he will attack it then.
Yeah, wield that fly swatter.
Comes over and draws a short sword as well. And the dragon definitely not happy about that. Screeches. Tufts little flames back at him. In response, sprays him. For 10 points of fire damage.
Flamethrowers are very unsafe.
This one comes out and hovers over the water. Begins to cast an innate spell. Three bolts of fire. Strike the veteran simultaneously. Ow! All three hit pretty good, as it turns out. We knew it! We knew it! Alarm! Alarm! Someone warn Papa!
Oh, and guys, there's a bigger one coming, just so you know.
Oh, great.
Christine flexes a little bit. And Brink pulls out his fly swatter. Probably more fly swatter than a sword.
Squish!
But, I mean, he's going to attempt. Squish! And then,
Oh.
that's all I can do. I can't reach. SWAT!
Whoa.
Now Lodrin can possess that little dragonlet.
No, he has to be the one to kill it with his spores.
Oh, okay.
Bijou. Are you sure this is the actions we should take?
No, I'd rather them not die, but they think we're here to harm them.
We kind of just did.
Well, yeah, because they called more and they raised the alarm.
Seeing like kicks Spirit on top of the other one. Well, nothing happened. Nothing
Like,
happened.
she's very perplexed. Like, she just like, I don't want to kill these cute little precious things, but I also don't want my friends to die.
Negotiations are
You
broken
can
down.
see Lodrin very is very hesitant at first and then becomes resolute if this is what must be done. And then the fungal aspects on his shoulders and beard and exterior begin to sprout as the symbiosis gains strength and spores begin to grow. So it must be. He spews forth stream of poison on the one that's hovering above. Here, up, as it's all like as it goes over it, and you hear it kind of hacking and screeching in a very miserable way. You see a dragonette who is up top, take flight. Make half a swoop. And then screech as it turns and pivots and takes off higher up through the chasm, up towards the rooftop, up above. Bijou, you hear the screech say, "Do your best, brothers. I will get us help."
They're bringing more in, guys. Or something.
And it takes off up out of vision. And then it's Kara's turn. I don't know if I've actually heard today. In retrospect. Oh, it fails. The sacred flame. Alright, Izzy, you're up first.
Yeah, Bijou said we gotta attack them, but they have just been kind of like warning us away. Honestly, I think Izzy's... I feel like she's not super comfortable with this. So... But she can't talk to them either.
I mean, what do you want to say to them? Because I can ask a question for you or say something for you.
Maybe tell them we're here to see Mordenkainen, that there's a horde of orcs coming, and we need to help him defend this place. And that if they won't help us defend it, then we don't want to, but we will have to go through them. But we're just trying to defend this place.
I relay that message.
That we had been working with Mistra. Maybe we can... Maybe they know what that is?
Dragon at 18. The one over by Izzy. As, Izzy's like, whoa, kind of taking this very, like, non-aggressive stance. And then turn and talk to Bijou. Bijou relays what she says. The little dragon at 18 screeches. Says, "How do you know Papa's true name?" And it sounds like it comes across as like holding back tears from the somber sound.
And I tell her, I said, we're here to protect you. We're here to restore balance to things. I told you, we're here to see Papa. We don't mean any harm.
Tell that to Darton.
Maybe we can restore him or her.
See him just hunkered its neck like as far back into like its body as it can, and its head's kind of hanging down.
I know they can't understand me, but I try and take a stance as well with body language that I look sad about that. Also drop my head a little bit.
And I tell you guys that the I don't know which word you said again. The person we're going to see is their papa, is the person, the big guy that they're calling. So when we use their name, they realize maybe we don't mean them harm. We might still be okay. Like we may not have to attack them. And I ask them if they'll help us cross and get to Mordekainen.
See its eyes get real beady, like narrowing in, focused.
So, can I turn and ask Car, can you bring things back to life? Or is it somebody can?
I can try. I haven't been hearing any of this right. You're like in animal speak, so you may have to.
Well, yeah, back and forth. But could you raise the dragonette that we killed back to life?
I can try. It's not necessarily my turn.
Nope. It's Izzy's.
Yeah, I'm not doing anything aggressive. I guess if anything, I would just take a defensive kind of stance. I would probably sheathe my dagger even, just to show them that I don't intend to do any harm.
Could I hear any of that?
I mean the actual conversation?
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm on the other side of the river.
The common side? Yeah, you're talking about just about the water rushing is definitely.
I can use my hand cone and tell him, it's okay, just hold up, don't hit him yet.
You would have seen me sheathe my dagger, at least. You would have been able to see that.
Yeah, well, I also had 2 things of fire flowing at me.
That's fair.
So I'm curious what I got from.
Yeah, you can see that it seems like, shit hit the fan, but they're maybe trying to pull it back together, but, maybe all the words exactly hard to pick up exactly what was said.
I will hold my shadow blade sort of above the water and drop it, and it'll disappear as soon as it leaves my hand. But I'm going to maintain concentration on that spell.
Okay. This one covered in poison and viscous nasty. It's kind of writhing around as it's hovering mid-air. Come and land and look towards the veteran will look towards Lodrin. It'll come over to the corpse of its fallen brother, and then kind of like nudge on it, and then turn back, look at the veteran, look at Lodrin, and then spout fire, but not directly at them.
Oh yeah, is that just from a mechanic standpoint, is that little dragonette dead, or would like a spare the dying kind of thing work?
I think it's probably dead from the way it got smushed. What one are you talking?
Yeah. It doesn't look like I did more than...
It's max hit points? No.
I think I did exactly put it 0.
I think you did, yes.
So, can we save the one that we attacked and save the one that's dead?
I could try.
And I tell the dragonets, I'm like, we're gonna try and help. We didn't mean any harm.
I'm gonna walk over here and pull out my my healer's kit, and then try to stay its HP or stay it from dying. We'll do this medicine check. Yeah, woo! Talking about steam rolls.
If you use your healer's kit to stabilize a creature, I don't think you need to make a roll. Is that not right?
Maybe not.
Doesn't that replace the need to make a roll?
If he's actually...
If it's not actually...
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. If it's not...
The medicine check would be needed to ascertain its state of whether it's dead or dying. Would be the difference. Or, yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
but not in the actual application of the healer's kit. Yeah, so as far as you can tell, I mean, it looks dead, but it could just be unconscious and bleeding out. You don't know. Yeah, you're not capable of knowing.
I'm still gonna patch up the wounds.
Okay.
And that's my turn.
The little dragonette kind of looks back and forth at several of the others, and it readies in action. It hops back, staring at Lumo.
And Lodrin would chastise me. That's okay.
At least, as long as you know it.
Probably true. He does have a 5th level reincarnate spell. The downside being the reincarnate is just that. It reincarnates them, create a new body, and they embody a new body. Their soul embodies a new body.
Yeah.
So he's going to start by truly inspecting
The state of the creature?
mm-hmm. To return the creature in its present form takes magic I do not have. Simple healing alone will not work. Carr, I think we'll have to leave this one to you. Do you possess such power? And then he's going to use Healing Word on
The other little one?
I do, but it will mean not saving us at some point.
Having friends may save us anyway.
But these we can get more reagents, but yes, I can try.
I know meta-wise we've talked about it, but have the characters talked about, really what the cost of you using that is?
We
Diamonds?
yeah, we made an order and stuff and we was able to get 3, I think, at that time.
Yeah, that was an order that we sent back when we had the garrison.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not resurrection, so it's not the thousands of gold of diamonds. It's
like 500, I think.
3 or 5 or somewhere around, somewhere around in there for Revivify. But yeah, okay. So I thought I was pretty sure we had. I just want to make sure going forward. Yeah, and Lodrins essentially would respond if life is more important than money.
Well, I definitely wasn't making the money argument.
No, I don't think he was thinking either.
I nod. I acknowledge that he said that, and I will try. Hashtag on my turn. Cough.
Yeah.
Is that the meta monkey or whatever they were doing on Critical Role? A bird or something?
A pigeon. Meta pigeon.
Yeah.
Anything Bijou would like to do in her turn?
No, just tell them we're trying to fix it. We didn't mean to do any harm. We just want to protect everyone.
Okay. You can see that they're cautiously apprehensive.
I'm just typing you something real quick.
Hmm?
Oh, I guess I could cast Aura of Vitality.
Okay, then use your bonus action to toss one out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does that mean she loses her speak with animals?
I think so.
Speak with animals concentration. Actually,
It's
not.
for no. It's 10 minutes. It's
Is it just there?
Yeah, no, it does. It's just a duration. It doesn't actually have concentration on it.
Cool.
I didn't know that. That's good to know.
Learning experiences.
So, Car's gonna say something here. I'm gonna be casting Revivify at level 4 because I'm out of level 3 slots.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, I cast Revivify at level 4. I don't really think it's a roll.
Not with the.
I mean, you may have a roll for me.
Yeah. Standard Revivify doesn't have a particular role, but I would like. Let's do religion. Let's do a standard religion roll. Okay, that's a check. And then do a. Let's do a persuasion with advantage.
Good answer.
Little bitty dragonette sputters some small amount of life. The fire in its belly, the light gone, but the dragonette awake. What? Sorry, go ahead.
I'm kneeling down and just trying to have my hands out for kind of support, but holding no weapons and trying not to give any kind of hostile intent.
The dragonettes kind of get up a little excited shriek when they see their brethren move again, wounded, maybe wing broken, but alive. The one that was sprayed with viscous poison kind of hop, flutter a couple of little steps around the dragon itself, kind of looking at everyone. You're all still very mean. But maybe your hearts are true. I'm gonna do a group skill check. I need everyone to roll persuasion.
I've got that mean Kragan look to me. That don't look nice.
So the dragon says that we're mean, but maybe our hearts are good?
Wise dragons indeed.
I repeat what he just said to them. That you're very wise.
Is it possible? I guess I probably have to do that on my turn. Never mind.
As it turns out, capricious is persuasive.
Oh, jeez.
Yep, not quite as good, but I'm almost there.
Need one from Steen still?
Capricious is going to have us all in a multi-level marketing setup before it's all over.
So yeah, I just need one from Steen. Oddly enough, the failures versus the successes, we've had some big successes, some bad failures.
You made me do this.
You know,
Dean
all
didn't
the
want to open his mouth, all right?
all the little ones don't look threatening. It's the big guys that look very threatening.
Although the veteran did pretty good. Capricious did really well. Lodrin did real bad.
Could have let me do an intimidation roll,
Steen
would have been
did.
better.
Steen did bad. Let's see, so that's
I
one,
think I did it
two,
right.
I was say
three.
Luma still has my bardic inspiration he can add to it.
Oh,
Wait,
that's
wait,
tr-
wait,
that's
I have
true.
bardic inspiration too?
No, you used
No, you
yours.
already used yours.
It's a
Oh,
consumed thing, yeah.
Oh, okay.
D10?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, double digits now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Better than nothing.
Take what we can get.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, that takes a failure to a success because the DC was 10.
Yay.
Oh shit.
See?
So we've got, that makes it
Zinga.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 successes. And 1, 2.
I mean, you could skip my 5 and look at the one I did before.
I mean, you could just skip mine because
I mean,
Two.
Card did just raise their buddy from the dead.
it's so
3
low. It's an
failures.
insignificant number, right?
Yeah, I think I'll let Carl roll his with advantage because of the, raising people from the dead thing. Let's see. Let's see if
okay.
that changes the math. Come on, 50-50.
Please roll high.
Hey!
Yay!
Let's see the little guy kind of get up, kind of patter around a little. They screech, and then they take off to the air, all scattering in different directions, but all going up and out. And Bijou, the screech, said, "We will not stop you. We will not hinder you. You'll have to make your own way. If you are truly worthy, you
I
will
say
make
fair
it."
enough, thank you. I wish you the best. And I want to try and heal the one that was almost, or was just raising from the dead with my aura vitality if I can before it leaves.
Okay, hit him with 2. You could probably get him with 2, as he's going to be slow to lift off.
Which one is he?
Shoot.
I don't think he's
Or you
on
just
the
mean to
map.
write
He's not
down
on.
two?
He's not on. Yeah, just put toss 2 in the tracker, if you will. Or not in the tracker, just in the chat, sorry. Yeah, so he kind of, his 1 hit point, and then he was kind of slow to hop up and weakly move, and then the first one, and you can see his wing kind of like crunch, you know, like kind of reform back together as he's in flapping his wings. Kind of lets out a little squeak of pain, but okay, he can move, things are going, and then he takes off, and he can actually kind of, his very, not the most stable flight, and then as he's going to leave, you hit him with another, and you can see, aha, now he's actually got rather, not at peak by any means, but usable, mechanically, flight, as they all fly away.
Oh, okay. All right. Now we just have to cross the big chasm with the river at the bottom of it and no bridge. This'll be fine.
Are we still in turn order?
No, we're out. We can get out of turn order now.
Okay.
So I can cast the rest of my auras real quick.
Yep. Yep. Oh no! Is there 5 lifts? 4 lifts?
Yep, 4 more. And I can't reach Flumo.
It's pretty good aura vitality across the board.
Yep,
Jinxed it.
it was great.
Yeah. So you said this river is moving at 30 feet per round? This map shows that. So, boing, wee, boop. At the bottom.
What?
They jump in and then ride the river.
So what do you think your next character is going to be?
Yeah.
Well, you ford the river by jumping in upriver.
Have you ever played
40
Oregon
feet
Trail?
up.
You never ford the river. You never ford the river.
I've had to
You're in
ford
plate.
rivers several of times in real life. You always ford upstream and you let the river carry you down while you waste your energy swimming straight across.
Well, we survived the encounter. I think Lily has to get to her play now, so I think
Ballet, but yes.
ballet. What? Sure.
Nice.
Dracula, the ballet.
Are you performing?
Oh yeah, you should come see me.
Yeah.
You know how you know if someone's a vampire?
They drink blood.
You stab them through the heart with a wooden stake, and if they die, they were a vampire.
Oh,
Foolproof method.
It's just like how you find witches.
Fair.
It's very similar.
if you throw them in water, they float. No, wait. No, witches sink. Yes.
Now you drown them, and if they die, they were human. If they don't die, they were witches. So you then kill them.
Well, sorry for being late and having to leave early, but I'll talk to you guys later.
No, that was good. I'm glad you were able to show up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Kind of saved
Your,
the day with that.
your linguist skills helped.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was fun with the dragons.
Or Steam
And,
would have just went fly swatting.
Couple of clutch inspirations as well.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
So we might as well go ahead and put a pause on it here, and then just pick up crossing the bridge.
And meeting the big Dagron next time. Thanks.
Maybe next time, maybe not. We got a long ways to go, man. You never know.
Yeah, we're still in the mountains. Haven't even made it to the valley yet.
We got plenty more mountains to go. It'll be fun.
I'm okay with that. Keep me out of the jungle.
We're not in a desert, so that's all I care about.
Yeah, pretty much.